Yeah, for about 2 seconds. Hello. Um. Sorry, rough night's sleep. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. This really feels like the time of the week where I end up greeting everybody the most. You know, Wednesday. My rock, solid. I love it. Anyway, welcome back. This is the day of Orphaned Honor. Um, and since timelines are going to be a little tighter today, I have a place to be at the end of the game. We're gonna jump right in. So it sounded like Greg, you were put on the spot. What happened last week?
Oh, it's fine. Oh, so what happened last week is we were finally set out to explore where the hags have been staying this entire time. We recruited the quick help of Stitch, who refers to himself as a Hexbreaker. He's cool. He's a Yuan-Ti. Neat. He's kind of got a bit of expertise that can kind of help with this, like with hags magic and whatnot. When we get there, Core kind of just chats with the guards a little bit to explain the situation. He's a bit wary about it, but we were luckily able to convince him that we're competent. That was his mistake. After going up an insane amount of stairs, like we entered the first room, which was a bathroom turned into a makeshift surgery room. Nothing too crazy in there. In the next room, we found their containers of all of their bodies, which have they've been using to turn into the strawmans. In which we also found a Tafakari elf, one that looked really familiar to us. The hag had assumed her persona to get around easily and whatnot without getting shouted at in the streets like, "Hey, that's a hag! Get it!" We had two more rooms to explore. One was just, and then the second was just their other storage room of just a bunch of just different like magic reagents and whatnot. Nothing too crazy. And then we got into the final room, and what seems to be like a recurring thing with us, we pull back the sheets of a bed for like abominations to come and try and kill us. As we met two new strawmen there. And that's kind of, we cleaned up with that, and that's where we kind of ended the session last week. Ba-ba-da-da.
We did it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Greg, please take your point.
I'd like to point out that we all deserve a reward of some kind for going the entire session without making a Lilo and Stitch reference.
I feel like because you had to bring it up, I'm going to go with a no. You know? Now you did. Now it's a thing.
Now it's gonna happen. Now they're gonna grab Core and they're gonna start picking him up, and
painting him
Hama's
blue.
gonna pull out the blue paint, and Yelena and Stella are just gonna start dipping him into it, and Core's just gonna be screaming the entire time.
Yeah.
It's dark down here. Up here.
Good point. Spit some light.
Ooh. We have the map now.
We have a map. I made a map this week.
Nice.
So, to quickly reset the scene, the party ended in the hallway after the scrap with the strawman tucked away in the bed. And a catnap spell was used to put 3 members of the party into a trance in which they could get a short rest in 10 minutes time. We are starting as everyone is coming out of their napping state, healed and ready to dive back into the suite. Beyond.
And the targets were the twins and Stella, right?
It was Yelena, Stella, one of the twins.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Core's having a wonderful time.
Mm-hmm. An awkward 10-minute silence, mostly. while you and Stitch and Miscellaneous Twin watched over your sleeping companions in the hallway of this luxurious suite.
It's just a convention.
Basically, right?
I actually. Are all of you ready?
Yes, Yelena will say she's getting up, stretching a little bit.
Nero nods as he kind of like cracks his back.
And in we go.
Wonderful. All right. Where in the absolute hell were we? All right.
And something that's actually kind of important. Here, I'm actually going to. I'm gonna group you guys all together real fast. And I'll even grab a light switch real quick. 'Cause I'm gonna show you all the rooms you guys have previously explored, so you have an idea as to what they look like, or as my intention as to what they look like when you first went. So first will be the bathroom turned surgery room. Good. Soak that in.
Uh-huh.
Next will be the coffin storage room. However you want to phrase that. Next will be the, I guess the supply room with all the hanging bits and bobs.
I found a golden seashell.
Magic.
What's it say?
And then finally, the bedroom.
Nice.
Okay, just so everyone's covered. Right.
Well, might as well keep going.
Forward the party mark. Move basically right up to, we're just gonna get
Dick for light. When I heard the description, I thought it was another hallway going this way, not an entire open space.
Oh yeah, it's a big old open space.
It seems a little weird that we just stopped there and went back now.
Well, it was mostly due to vision. It was just kind of a, big dark open space when you were only at these doors.
So, Stitch.
Yeah.
Why is the room like this?
Like what?
Of course, like just staring out into the empty room.
Because there's no light out there?
Okay, but like that's almost 80 feet of room with no furnishing.
You were asking me as to the psychological reasons as to why rich people decorate their interiors? Because you've really got the wrong adjutant for that question.
Well, you know what? I'm also in the same exact boat as you, and I have questions, and I want answers, and I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and assume you can't see as well as I can. The room is furnished.
Okay, so it is furnished.
Yeah, not in a way you're gonna like.
Oh, great. Let me guess. Bodies hanging on the wall, chest open, purple curtains. I hate purple.
You're actually partially right. And he'll raise his sword up, and one of the runes on it will glow, and the sword will give off a bright light.
Yelena is also unsheathing her swords to use as torches.
Let me know if you can see.
Yep.
What was the continual flame? It's just a torchlight, right?
Yeah, I think it just gives light like a torch.
Torch. Okay. You move into the space, illuminated blades being drawn to provide additional light. You see immediately to your left 2 large cages, currently empty, heavily reinforced, difficult to escape or destroy. To the right of you, several more arranged wooden tables, a sink, and what appears to be a table on which some butchery has been done. This is the only part of the apartment, the suite thus far, that looks like it's been left. Except there's something that will catch the eye of all of you present, which looks like there is a bloodied arrangement of clothing, just a pile of clothing left off to the side. These seem to be the only things that were left out of place, whereas the rest of the place was kept in a very neat order.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, let's take a look, shall we? Wait, no, those clothes are probably gonna, like, leap up and have nothing attached to them, and now I'm gonna have to stab it. That's how that's gonna work, right? No? Alright. Just me picking wild guesses.
Yelena's going to take a closer look. What size are the clothes?
They appear to be larger than average.
Does it seem like the kind of thing Pops would wear?
It does. It looks like a slightly outdated but still finely maintained suit.
Can I roll investigation to see if I can find any other additional clues?
You may.
I can do this as a bonus action. Haha. Is Yelena aiding me through their own sleuthing?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. We're very determined.
Core can do a couple of things really
Yeah.
Okay. Core, you begin investigating. It doesn't take you very long. Very carefully and diligently moving through the suit in its various pieces, you find folded and tucked into the breast pocket of the jacket a folded up note. Do you unfold it?
Actually, Core will not unfold it. He will take the note, and then he will look towards Stitch and say, "Sweep this. Might have explosive runes."
I think you misunderstand the kind of... Okay, fine. He flips the sword facing downward. The tip touches the carpet, and one of the runes glow, and there's a brief pulse of magic. And then you see him stare very intently at the note. That's clear.
Just making sure. I don't understand how it works, but if I wanted to hurt someone, I would leave a trap here.
There's nothing overtly magical or evil anywhere in the area over there. And he gestures to the butchering area. I can't
Everything's-
speak for the rest of the room, and then he points beyond to where you can see just shadow.
In that case, Core will unfold it at that point after being a little paranoid.
You unfold it. It's small. There is a single line of text written in fine cursive that says, "I so look forward to you attending the ball. I have made special hors d'oeuvres just for you." And it's signed with a very intricate calligraphy K.
Do you think they have competitions where they try to like out evil one another? No.
I've been muted this entire time. Oh my god.
I kind of like the awkward silence. Bad jokes.
I've been talking this entire time without realizing it.
What are you, a boomer? Come on, Greg.
Okay, you're gonna say something though? After the
You know what?
awkward silence?
No, I think it's funnier now to leave it to you and your awkward silence. I was like, maybe. But no, I think this works out better.
Oh god. Well, after that, Core just follows behind Yelena. And I guess when nothing happens, Core just actually gives Yelena like this very, very worried look. And just, pockets the note at that point.
And to further clarify and strengthen the suspicions had about the clothing, going through it all, the size, cut, and general wear, it definitely would suit someone the size and stature of Pops. And given your very keen-eyed nature, Core, it's fitted for someone his height and build. So, pretty confident it probably belongs to him.
With a 28, am I able to determine how fresh this all is, or is that going to be a different check?
No, I'll let you have it for a 28 on an investigation check. That's a gigantic number. It's not very fresh. A couple days old. By a couple days old, I mean like a day old. So, fresh? I don't know. It's a day old. How fresh you want that to be, I'll leave that up to you.
That gives a time frame.
It don't smell like potpourri.
Core just says, as he like walks slowly up to this point. Looks like they did this yesterday.
Looks like they left in a hurry. And Stitch is going to walk up to the edge of this lowered seating area. We see this long table. There is a large bag spewed open, several gold and silver coins sort of spilling out of it. In the middle of the table, there is a tarot card arrangement, a reading that was done and left, and then several guttered candles.
I'm gonna actually roll something. Core is superstitious. I am going to see if I'm going to justify him actually maybe having some interest in this and maybe having any knowledge of that whatsoever. Highs means yeah, lows means no. Okay, so he's a little familiar. Probably not enough to actually know what these things are or how to read cards, but probably understands the very basics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these cards are death.
Not all of them, but one of them is.
Oh,
Oh no. Corey looks towards Stitch and says, what do you make of the cards?
Well, let me see. He steps down into the pit. Stands over the table, kind of holds the sword over it so he can illuminate the cards. Well, cursory reading says it didn't look like it was going to go well for them in the future. And he'll, with his free hand, gesture to the center card. This represents them.
What card is that?
The star, but it's reversed.
Uh-huh. What is the reading?
Sure. I will just tell you up front. So the center card, it's a 5-point reading. It's a one card in the center and then one card in all the cardinal directions.
Okay.
The center card is the star, reversed. The north card is the lovers, reversed. The east card is the high priestess. The south card is death. And the west card is the empress.
I don't know what these mean, but the only thing I know is death isn't necessarily a bad thing with these cards. I just know it means change.
That's correct. It's usually how these things go. Death
Yeah,
is actually usually not the card you want to keep an eye out for. And he'll actually sort of point to the star reversed. This one is significantly worse, given their current circumstances.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna like say, oh, they got like 3 towers or something like that.
No. I don't know a lot of their circumstances, so this reading will mean a lot more to the person that laid it out. But given everything that's unfolded involving them in the last couple of days, some things here make plenty of sense. And then he'll sort of point to the death card. Funnily enough, I'm pretty sure that was you all. I think their plans changed very abruptly. The star reversed meant they were having a problem. They were failing in their trust with a relationship or a dealing they had. They felt their situation falling apart. The other two, the Empress and the High Priestess, don't really make a ton of sense to me. The Empress is probably referring to their boss, if I had to make any guesses. The one that they were losing faith in.
That would be our Constable, who bothered to sign this with a K.
The High Priestess could be a lot of things. I really don't have any connections for it. Tends to involve the divine, femininity, subconsciousness. It's a pretty personal card. I don't know what it would mean in this exact reading for them. The Lovers Reversed is one that I find ironic, given that they were a coven of hags, which generally means there is plenty of infighting.
So, Do you know anything about this stuff, Yelena?
She'll cross her arms and think a little bit. Or, like, a performance check to see if she's overheard or kind of picked up on anything from other performers and such?
Sure. Actually, here, let's do a. We're gonna do a weird check. Make a history charisma check.
History charisma. Okay, it'll be one higher than this then. 21.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you in performer circles, tarot card readers and fortune tellers and things of that nature blend in pretty seamlessly due to the fact that their performances tend to be less stage performances, and they kind of are typically the word I want. Embellishments on the side, something for people to do when in between acts or if their attention wanes. It keeps people there, but does not detract from the main performances. So you've seen plenty of things of this nature before in the past. It's whether or not Yelena would have taken any interest in them.
I think she's always a little bit interested in different types of performances, whether or not she fully believes in them or not. But
In which case, Yelena, you know a little bit. Could you do a reading yourself? I mean, yeah, maybe. You might struggle with a little bit of the interpretations, but most of the deck and a general understanding of their meanings.
in that case, she'll do what she can to kind of confirm what Stitch is saying or add details if she missed any.
Yeah, you don't have any sort of card proficiencies, correct?
No.
Then just make a straight up charisma check for me, please.
I'll blow inspiration, why not? I'll do it again. Dare me, roll 20.
Well, you got in the double digits at least. Are you gonna stay there?
You know what? Sure.
Wow!
That's a 10.
Yeah, 10. That's rough, buddy. Yeah, there's really nothing for you to add to Stitch's interpretation. Everything that you understood or could have also gleaned, he touched upon, and then some.
Can Estella look?
She can. Make a. So we're gonna do the same thing. Make a history charisma check for Estella. We're gonna see what she knew.
So just flat charisma then.
That's the case, yes. And it is. So yeah, charisma check.
I might spend inspiration depending.
Okay. Pretty good.
I don't think I will. I mean, 21's pretty good.
It is pretty good. In a similar vein to Yelena, you've been in enough places that have used tarot readings. You're familiar with the deck and a lot of their general meanings. Make a second charisma history check to see your understanding or interpretations of the cards.
Okay. I'll blow one just in case.
Calling the Focus Business Bureau!
Business.
Business.
Oh my god.
You
One
gonna-
more. Okay. Oh god.
Oh, is how this is happening? Wow, you're just all gonna spend it on these tarot cards because we really need to know.
I mean, the card said take the 16 or die, and I was like, oh, okay.
You've got one more if you really want to use it.
You go all in.
6
I mean, why not?
inspiration.
Really
One
don't
deck.
ever use it for anything most of the time.
Come on, it's gonna pay off.
Oh,
Wow, these cards don't want to be read.
I would use my inspiration into this too if I could, but that's not allowed.
Yeah.
So 16, it's still pretty
Yeah.
good.
No, it's good. It's good. The only difference is it doesn't add anything more to the situation. Estella's understanding is as much as Stitch's understanding is. Unless you happen to have a little personal, actual experience with reading tarot cards, in which case you are allowed to embellish as necessary based off of the actual reading I posted in the in-game chat. I will allow some real-life experience to bleed in if someone wants that.
I don't want to use my knowledge of this stuff because I don't know how much Core would actually know.
Do you want to find out how much Core would actually know?
Sure, why not?
you know it at this point. Charisma history check, please.
Charisma history. He is not proficient with that. However, his charisma score is higher. So let's go. And you know what? I will also blow inspiration.
God.
23.
Yeah. You again you're familiar with tarot cards and their general meanings. Do you
All
want to make a reading?
Sure, we'll make a reading. Let's do an ability check. What's the charisma still?
Yeah. And like I said, unless you have a proficiency in a card of some type.
I am proficient in no card games, even though I know Core plays them. He does not have proficiency in any because
Yes, doesn't mean he's
you
good
know,
at it.
doesn't mean he's good at it. He plays casually. He's not like professional or whatever.
Mm-hmm. He's not a
I
card.
could justify it more if he had like gamblers something or whatever.
Mhm,
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Here's the roll. And you know what? 9 points. 9 points. 9 point. We'll sit on 20.
Okay. You guys are getting at it. I'm absolutely gonna ambush you now.
As soon as the 9th point is spent on this deck, suddenly there's another hag coven that enters in and says, "Finally, they're get him!"
Quick, you're weak.
Yeah, these hags are just, it's like a green hag coven. The gangrene gang comes in.
Oh no.
Look, there's been too many sessions where I don't spend my inspiration.
Fair.
Waiting for these two statues to come to life and just snatch up.
We'll get to those after Core finishes his reading.
Yes, I was wondering.
Yeah, we were gonna get there.
Okay.
All right, Core. You know what? Go ahead. Let's apply some of your knowledge. What can you see?
Okay. So I actually got to open the chat here. Take a look. Where did you put it? Did you put it in the in-game chat?
In the in-game chat. Yep. The only chat I look at while I'm running a game.
Oh, okay. So it's a 5-card reading. I'm a little bit more used to the 5-star one, so I just need to take a look at 5 tarot spread. Which 5 tarot is the center card is from my understanding our basically our situation. To the left is typically a I guess it like is also like in a way there's just very different ways that I guess these can kind of be interpreted.
Yes. That is always the nature of tarot cards. And usually they will have more significant meaning to the person that is actually playing the deck. Or the person that they're doing the reading for. So you do have a disadvantage in the fact that you aren't one of the hags.
I am not one of the hags.
But you do know a lot of what they've been up to and a lot of what they've been dealing with. So you do have at least a little bit of insight.
I'm just trying to remember like how these are actually done. So, star reverse then. I actually have to like open up the picture so I have a better view of this. I like these tarot cards a lot. They are really cool.
Yes, they're very pretty. For the record, we're using the Critical Role Major Arcana set. They're very, very pretty. I look for pretty much any reason to ever use them. I have a character that's the whole shtick is cards, and he does card readings whenever players meet him.
I'm joining a Strahd game tomorrow, and I'm playing a Spirits card that uses a Tarokka deck.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think probably what the thing here is I have to see where death is.
In the
Death
southern
is in the southern position. That dragon.
upright.
Yeah. So death upright.
So people can see what we're talking about.
Yeah. I just need to see what the actual order of this is too, because that does matter.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at this first card is always going to be the center one. The left card is the second. The third card in the reading is the one on the right is the third. The bottom, the one is the fourth, and the top one is the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that is going to be interpreted from this is that my takeaway from this is the lovers is inversed, and that is the as this would basically be put is the outcome. The lovers, and so the lovers tarot card is typically it's a thing that is used for cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
It being inverse basically means the final outcome of what they're looking at here ultimately means whatever they were reading, the final outcome of what they were looking at is everything breaking apart. That is what that means. The fourth card in this, which is the bottom one, is death, which death usually means a great change. So I'm reading this backwards, obviously. The bottom card in this case is death. This is more likely us. Pretty much what this means is we are the ones who bring about the discourse here and the outcome here. Ultimately, these cards, something happens here that causes this entire situation to break and fall apart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is how that is being read. So at this point, we are looking towards, if we're going backwards, we're looking at the right-hand side, which at this point is going to be the High Priestess. That is going to be our future or our guidance card based off the reading. The High Priestess is in the upright position. What does that mean? So the High Priestess is a card that is about typically hidden talents, intuition, things yet to be revealed. If it was reversed, it would mean that things are being withheld, or that there might be a lack of personal harmony, or that there might be things being kept like deliberately in the dark. I think in this case, it really would depend upon like who is whatever this is. This is what they were looking for maybe guidance. Maybe this is what they were looking for some type of future here. That typically, if the High Priestess is in play, it is maybe time to trust in a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how to interpret that, but maybe we can come to some type of conclusion here. The card on the left is the second card, which is, if we're also reading this here, the first card, the center card, is the present card, or the current situation, and the left card would basically be our challenge, or in depending on how you want to read it, the past. So let me see if I can figure anything out with what I remember about this. Just it's in the upright position. So in this case, the Empress in the upright position is usually symbolic of new opportunities, abundance. Maybe it is symbolic of basically nurturing. The Empress is usually a card that is a creator, a mother, and a nurturer. In many decks, she is sometimes shown to be pregnant. So this is something that is a little maybe unsettling, because we're dealing with a lot of children. We have basically, they've been abducting children, so I don't know what this could mean. This might have some not so good connotations pertaining to that, but it's an upright thing, meaning there's been something here involving the nurturing of something. Maybe this is in reference to their plans. Maybe this is in reference to their children. But this is currently something here pertaining to either the past or a challenge. Which let's look at the second card here. Maybe people can come from this here. So the Stars card is let's see. The Stars card is a card that usually means brought hope, renewed power, and the strength to carry on with life. This is reverse, so it means despair, disappointment, illness, and missed opportunities. So the Star card being in reverse is obviously just very kind of damning. It has just a lot of negative connotations to it. So if this was pertaining to them, it was basically saying that their current situation is one of despair. If we're gonna read it like this, their situation is not good. There is despair. Things are not looking right at the moment here. In the past, they have been able to nurture their events. they've been able to have success in what they were doing. Things have been going according to plan, and in the future, they should have, in the way that I'm reading this, as far as the High Priestess goes, they should be... It's in an upright position, so... Maybe, like... They should be nurturing something. It's spirituality and wisdom. A good time to connect with, the subconscious, to be creative. Something about... their desirability. Maybe it was like what they want. Let's see. I'm just trying to get a general reading on this. Now is the time to trust your instincts and go with your gut feelings. Pay attention to your dreams. Signs and symbols are going to appear in these particular things. Maybe they should have trusted their initial instincts on something. Maybe that's the direction that they needed to have the kind of move in. This card is probably the most unclear because it's meant to be the guidance. The focus, the reason for why their center card is the way it is because of a change that has happened. And clearly that changes us, and the last card is the easiest thing to interpret here. So, ultimately, this change that is happening here is going to be their undoing. The left card and the right card are the ones that are the hardest for me to maybe piece together, but I think we at least have a general meaning here of their situation is bad. In the past, they have had success with this in a kind of maybe a twisted way, where we pulled the Empress, haha. And we go here seeing that there's a card telling them to basically put their faith in a higher power, to trust their instincts, or something to that effect. And then they pulled the Death card, which is there's a change here. And what does this change lead to? This change leads to discord, and the most easy way to interpret that Lover's card is the destruction of their coven. But Core is going to relay that in his own way of basically saying, yeah, bad times happening, kind of a sick joke there. They had past success, I guess. I don't really know what this means. Maybe they should have gone with a gut instinct, but then they ran into us and they got bent. That's what this card means. It means they got bent. Out of character, I don't know if my rambling helped anybody with that, but
decent interpretation, though. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Core would then just say, kind of hard to know. Kind of hard not to know what they were. Hard to know what they were doing. I mean, Blue, you might want to speak with another, dead hag and ask them what they were actually reading. Could give us a little bit of insight into this.
Or send a message to the one that fled.
You really want to harass them again?
Could be funny.
I think it'd be funny.
But I can't do that today. Nor do I think the contents of their deck are too important for the moment.
Anyway, you don't have any other ideas about what that other card could be? You don't think that there's like some type of like, well, I mean, like, I don't know. You're right. It could easily just be their boss that they were supposed to put their trust into or something like that.
Yeah, I never said I was an expert on reading these.
Better than I thought I was.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a time where I'd like go to see a fortune teller maybe once every 2 weeks. It went okay for a little bit.
And then?
Then they told me some great and terrible misfortune was gonna happen, and that they stayed clear of me after that. Wonder if I can find them again. I don't know. You don't think they were talking about me meeting you, right?
Me?
It's a joke.
Yeah, obviously.
I make these things because obviously things are really, really messy and not so good right here, and I'm trying to distract myself by thinking about what might have happened to Pops.
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism, I understand.
Absolutely. Anyway.
And that's when we cut away to Habanero.
Habanero who's going through, look at these statues here, they're looking at them, and they're going to trigger the 2 stone golems in the room.
I mean, that's what I was worried about.
So, before you, Habanero, are 2 12-foot tall stone statues depicting the visual of a robed figure, hands pressed together, almost in a prayer position. The face under the robe is smooth. It has no distinctive features whatsoever. But you would say its features are slimmer or a bit more feminine. The best comparison would be elven, thinner but finer features. But everything is sort of smoothed over, so there's no eyes or no nose, there's no defining like cheekbones, or there's no hair, nothing. And the robes are done in such a fashion that they are increasingly detailed at the top, like there are creases in the fabric. And then the further down they go, it looks almost like a cascade to the bottom of a waterfall, where everything becomes increasingly smooth and billowing out. Is there anything about the statue you would like to know in specific?
Sure. Would I know if this was like made like for like us, like in reverence of like a specific god or anything like that?
You can make a religion check.
Yeah. 13.
Okay. It's good enough. You have a couple of pieces of information that you can piece together. Given that this was the former suite of the Fetris, a family of Tafakari, these are statues honoring Ratri, the rogue, who allegedly is the mother of Tafakari.
Okay. Neat.
So these are not too out of place. That being said, Ratri is also the goddess of secrets. So who knows? Maybe the statues are hiding something.
Yes. Second thing I want to check: is there anything out of place that I like notice?
I make an investigation check.
Okay.
And make 2, one for Nero and one for Haba.
Yes. All right. This one's Haba's. Ooh. Right.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
I will not be getting my cupcakes today.
Oh.
17 for no, not
wow.
bad, Nero.
I'm actually
Not
impressed.
Bad. I am too.
However, Nero does not have any great fortune in finding much. Haba, on the other hand, looking through all the details, it is in one of the creases of the robe, right where the face and the hood separates. There is actually a tiny little shadow that is being cast by all of the moving light from behind you, that shows you that something where you'd expect it to run smooth, there's actually something that is slightly out of place. And when Haba reaches up and feels for it, kind of stretching all the way up, you can feel that there is something that is slightly jutting out, and you think you could press.
There's a button over here. Should I, or something? Should I mess with it?
Sure.
I'm gonna ask before I just hit it and Core freaks out when I summon the boss. Alright. Core has not responded. Yep, let's do it. Let's just do it.
Don't actually take my advice. You should definitely ask the party, because I'm here to stir the pot and cause trouble.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
if that's what your heart's telling you to do, then go ahead and hit the button that kills us all.
I'm sure we could handle it, but I hope it's not that. Alright.
You gonna hit that button?
I'm gonna hit the button. Kill mode
Okay.
activated.
Uh,
Get sucker punched by this statue.
I just wanted to have it so bad. It's just a statue that just punches you in the face, and that's all it does.
in Mortal Kombat uppercuts you through the roof. So you reach and you press this jutting out piece of stone, and you feel it indent into the statue. And then you watch as the statue animates to life and its hands separate. And there's a section in the center part of its chest, in the robe, where the robe parts, and there's a compartment within the statue. Contained therein, there are a couple of things. One, alarmingly, there's a severed hand. It is withered and decrepit and black. It is sitting there clutching what looks like a golf ball sized pearl. Next to that, there is a book which appears to be wrapped in a wrinkly kind of leather. It is also of an unpleasantly off-colored nature. And then there's a small lockbox. About a foot and a half, about 18 inches across, 8 inches high, 12 inches deep. It is resting on top of the.
Okay. I'm going to scoop all of the. Well,
I was gonna say,
Go on.
Hey, Stitch, would you like to check out this cool compartment I found? And
Yeah,
make
for a
sure I
second-
don't die?
for a second there, I thought you were gonna go commit toad transformation.
That still might happen.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Good thing you're calling the expert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't touch anything in there. He moseys on over with a great deal of interest, but also some hustle to make sure no one actually touches anything. So much so, he takes the flat of the blade and he puts it against your chest, Haba, to sort of push you away. Trust me, this is for your safety.
Understandable.
And he peers inside, and immediately he just turns and goes, "There's nothing good in here. If you really needed the confirmation for that."
It doesn't. It didn't look good.
He reaches in and he takes the lockbox, with the least amount of consideration you would have thought, except for this, which has something magical inside of it, but is not of a hag nature. And he'll just actually sort of turn and hand it to you, Haba.
Okay.
Then he stops, takes his sword again, and he touches the tip against the book, and there's a wave of invisible magic that sort of ripples. And then after a moment, you just kind of hear him muttering to himself, and then he pulls the book out in his hands. It is clasped shut. But the thing that is mildly alarming when you finally realize what's going on here is that the clasp on the side, instead of it being a traditional like book lock, it's actually a set of teeth, like someone's clamped their mouth shut.
Gross.
Yeah. And Stitch takes it, looks at it for a moment. You see him sort of run his fingers over certain edges of the book, and then after a second, he turns and then places it on the floor, very carefully. A person who was very confident before, you're now watching this very delicate mannerism overtake him. And I think it sort of relays how serious of a nature this is. And last but not least, he'll do the same thing with a sword, touching the severed hand, and then pull it back. And he's just gonna let out like a long, low whistle. Alright, this last thing, real bad news. Very magical, but incredibly dense with hag magic. I kind of just want to leave it here, but I should. Any of you interested in being bound to a magical item for the rest of your life?
I suppose it would depend on what the consequences of that union would be.
Well, I can't tell you the consequences, but I can at least tell you some of the benefits.
Who wants to cut
what
off
is
the
it?
hand?
No, nothing like that.
Uh,
So, this thing that it's holding, it's looks kind of like a big pearl. It's actually not. It's an eye. When you hold the hand, you can use it to close its eye, and you can turn yourself invisible. Or if you use magic, you can have it to open its eye, and then you can see invisible things.
Why are you trying to sell me on this?
Do you want the honest answer?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen groups like you before. Usually you have to learn a hard way about something like this, but if you're going to be overly cautious, I will in fact just put it in a bag and take it away from you.
So what, if I touch it, is it just gonna stick to me like glue?
More like you're not going to want to put it down. You'll develop a strange attachment to it.
Hey, Blue. Elena,
Yes.
the there were those other three. This might be something we want to consider.
And as far as you can tell, the extent of this item's power is to see invisible things or to turn invisible.
Yep. That's about what I've gathered.
It doesn't seem as dangerous in their hands.
Is that a hand joke?
If it wasn't intentional.
Fair enough. Figured I'd ask.
Anyway, if anyone's gonna take it, I think I'd rather it be me over someone like you. If only because if we needed to get away from you, or Nero, that could be hell on the rest of us.
Stitch will turn around and like he's gonna like partially smile, and then it's gonna turn into a frown. If you're actually seriously considering taking this, it needs to go to the person with the greatest willpower. Because once its influence creeps into your head, and it will, it's going to be difficult to give up unless you can fight it off.
Out of character, I've got a +2 wisdom. Unless this is an in-save.
I don't know, and I'm scared.
I chose my words carefully.
Oh wait, it might actually be a charisma save. Just like
Those don't
will.
exist.
Those don't exist.
Not for you guys. Make a charisma save. All of you with proficiency in charisma saves and +5 charisma.
I do not have proficiency in charisma saving throws, thank you very much, but I do have a +4.
Yeah, you don't. You'll find a way.
Oh, I mean, don't worry. I'll still banish somebody someday. It'll happen regardless. But now's not the time.
I think.
I mean, the
this is
meta-
a thing.
The meta thing would be give it to whoever has actual wisdom saving throw proficiency, but
No.
no one
No.
has that.
Actually, Nero does.
Actually, technically true.
Oh my god.
He has proficiency in every save. +3, but it's still proficiency.
I think perhaps we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. We've looked at one of these 3 items that we've pulled out. I'm pretty sure we can decide what we do with it later when we're done our investigation of this place. There is still a nearly dead woman waiting on a healer.
Yep. I'm with Yelena on this. I'd rather wait to make sure that they're going to be taken care of before we play a very dangerous game of hot potato.
Well, the rest of the items here, well, the book I think is pretty straightforward. The Coven's ritual book, filled with all their magic. Probably the recipes to make those creatures we fought in the bedroom, and any other things they needed. So unless you're interested in hag magic, I think I'm just going to hang on to this to get rid of it. As for the other one, and he'll turn around and sort of push a finger into the lockbox that Haba is holding. No idea what's in there, but there's nothing innately evil about it, or near as I can tell, hag related. You can get it open. Whatever's inside might be of interest.
Want me to give it a crack?
You're up, Gore.
Alright, so long as I've got your help, I can probably do this.
It's not magical if it makes you feel any better.
Well, hopefully it won't be like pulling teeth. Oh, great! It's got actual teeth on it.
No, that's
Mimic.
that's the book. That's the book.
Oh,
The lockbox is a standard, like, metal bound lockbox. There's nothing weird about it.
okay. Well, anyway. Core will make a check
Thieves' tools, dexterity.
with advantage because he's having help.
That's a core
Pretty-
roll.
Yeah, it's a pretty good roll.
It takes you a couple of minutes. It's a pretty intricate lock. It's very small as well. That's the challenge of it. So it's very delicate work. But after a couple of minutes, you do succeed in getting it open. You hear the click of the lock, and the top of the box rests open with a little crack now. Through the crack, you feel a warmth radiating from the interior.
It's Marcellus Wallace's soul. It's just like glowing, like golden glow that erupts from the box, and Cord like just like opens it up and just like looks inside and he just starts nodding. He's like, "Yeah, we golden." All right, yeah, Cora sees that and he just looks actually genuinely surprised and slowly. Actually, I think he'll be a little careful with this. He'll try to see what actually is inside before getting in deeper.
All right. Make a perception check. Very narrow space. But I'm going to assume someone will provide you with a light source to backdrop.
Sure.
Pretty good. With one of Yelena's flaming scimitars held just aside to you, peering into the crack of the chest, you can see inside something glittering and red. Like a ruby.
Glittering red and orb.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's inlaid into some sort of shiny material, like a fabric, for the top and bottom. The thing that was being used to contain it.
There's something warm in here. Looks like it's a stone inlaid into some kind of fabric. Looks really valuable.
You want me to pull it out?
Let me. Well, I was worried that this might have been a better container, but if nothing's happening right now, sure. Let's just take this very carefully, though. Cora's gonna like slowly open the box just to show everybody the contents of it without actually touching the item inside.
Okay. When you flip the lid back open, inside, inlaid in what looks like a purple velvety interior, is an egg-sized ruby.
Oh no, bail it.
That when you open it up, the warmth from the interior begins radiating outwards from the box, turning the what was previously relatively chilly temperature of the unheated suite to comfortable.
Ain't that a ruby sunrise? What's the fabric look like?
Well, aforementioned, like purple velvet. But that is its appearance. If it has any other qualities to it, there is nothing obvious about it. Stitch did mention that the interior of the box did contain something magical. So it could have been one or both objects. The fabric and or the stone.
What do you make of it, Stitch?
He's been standing nearby, arms crossed, and just kind of watching as you work through this process. Honestly, I've only ever seen two or three of these. It's a heartstone.
Heartstone?
Heartstone. Legends talk about dragons being made from materials found within the earth. Protected dragons are made out of metal. The primordial dragons are made out of gemstones. Well, it is said when you kill one, the essence that they are made of is contained within a gem that is left behind when they are killed. And he head nods to the gem in the case. That looks like a ruby heartstone. The remaining primordial essence of a red dragon.
What the actual hell?
They're incredibly valuable. Something somebody would pay a whole fortune for.
Is it alive?
That's a philosophical question for another time. Technically, yes. Technically, no. Does it have sentience? No. Could it? Yes.
Imagine being killed and then stuffed into a stone and then being forced to perceive every mistake that I'm making. Cor says as he stares at his necklace.
Yelita's gonna kind of hover her hand over the stone. Does it seem like it would be so hot that handling it would hurt, or?
It does give off a great deal of heat. You do think if anyone else were to handle it, it would probably not go well. However, you are uniquely equipped. Do you think you could at least attempt it and not hurt yourself?
She is wearing gloves that are specifically made for holding fire.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna pick it up.
Oh, careful.
To the touch, it is hot. But you've handled enough fire that this is tolerable. You do think if anyone else were to hold this in their bare skin, they would blister themselves pretty quickly. But your gloves allow you to handle it. The warmth is uniquely different from handling fire, however. It feels more alive. And given that you have some innate magical abilities, you can sense the power that it contains. It feels like holding a mote of the sun in your hands. You understand that its capacity for destruction is almost limitless.
You have to start calling you Dragonheart.
Something like this could do a lot of good or a lot of bad, depending on who gets it.
We can't let this fall into that guy's hands.
They're highly prized spell components. They can be used as batteries to sustain a spell indefinitely, and one of significant power. Or as a bomb, also.
She'll place it back in the box. I think that's something best discussed with the adjutants as to what we'll do with it.
I kind of feel bad for it. I don't know a lot about dragons, but I don't know.
Do some reading on them, your opinion will change. You do realize the original dragons were created as a means for killing all of mortal kind, right? You in particular, actually.
Oh, well, specifically me.
Halflings.
I guess. Oh, I mean, we are abominations, I guess. Cor just says as he closes the box.
I think it goes without saying, but I don't recommend any of you touch that thing with your bare hands.
That hot?
She nods.
All right. Okay. Well, the smuggler's gonna smuggle. I'll make sure that this doesn't get seen. I've got a few.
I'd also be incredibly interested in maybe finding a way for either myself or Estella to utilize that power, seeing as how we both have a kinship with fire, I guess you could call it.
Let's, like you said, let's make sure that we don't get too ahead of ourselves with that. I wasn't expecting to find, a dragon soul in here. Man, this is a lot. Okay. About how big is this box?
I gave the dimensions earlier. It's about 18 inches across, 8 inches tall, and about 12 inches deep.
Okay, that's a big box. How big is the stone?
The stone is, as I described, about the size of a large egg.
About the size of a large egg.
Yeah, it could comfortably fit in an average-sized palm and close around it.
How big is the I guess the best way I would put it is how much does it weigh?
The egg?
Yeah.
I guess Yelena would know. Well, fair to mention. It is heavier than it looks. That stone, Yelena, despite its compact size, weighs about 5 pounds.
Okay, well, that kills that idea. Alright. Old-fashioned way, then. Of course, is gonna make sure that he, makes sure he, puts that, at the bottom of his backpack.
Elena is going to make her way over to the other statue and just take a glance up to where Haba had, pressed down to unlock this secret compartment. See if there is a identical one on this one.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I wanted to check that too.
I'll help.
One more time. Yep.
All right. Yelena, even just kind of blindly groping where you saw Haba searching for a switch, you do find one. Dare ye to press it?
Absolutely.
Okay. You explode. No, the hands begin moving, and they part and reveal another compartment within the chest of the statue. This one, however, its contents are significantly less gray. You see 2 things. One, a glass container, which houses 6 what look like beautifully cut gemstones, all very colorful. A ruby, a sapphire, an emerald, an onyx, citrine, and hang on, the last one's escaped. Diamond. The other one is a pulled cord satchel, large and heavy. Based off of its general misshapenness, looks like a very dense coin purse.
Something tells me these are likely the belongings of the family and not the hag. And she'll pull them out slowly, struggling a little bit with the coin purse because it's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's like, and when I say coin purse, it's not like something you could tie off on your belt. Think like a small laundry bag at like a gym. Like, it's like 18 inches tall, like
It's like
4-inch diameter.
It's the comical money bag from cartoons with the dollar sign next to it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's got a gold coin printed on the outside. Yeah.
Core whistles and says, "It was more money than I'd ever seen. We split it evenly 6 ways." And then he says, "But no, there's somebody here who belongs to that family. Not ours to take."
The way you opened that made me think that was like an inner monologue. Of course, it was the biggest coin purse I'd ever seen.
He just says it like that, just as if he's just clearly trying to make a joke out of it.
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
That will happen one day. Don't worry, we'll make that joke. When he's actually facing down the dragon that's in that stone, he'll be like, "Oh, I bet you're wondering how this came to be." Well, it all started when Yelena screwed around with the stone. She's the dragon. We fight crime. Anyway, so I'm not gonna mark those down, but I'll ask for the general descriptions in them later, depending on what we're gonna be doing with it.
You leave them kind of against the statue for now. She's hoping maybe when we wake that person up, they'll be very thankful to be alive, maybe, and that we didn't rob them. That being said, she's making her way over to the pile of coins on the table.
Okay.
She's just gonna scoop that right back into the bag.
The mixture of gold and platinum.
Cor is going to start making his way to the bookshelf.
Okay. There are 2 large bookshelves that go to the ceiling. There are hundreds of books present.
Oh man, and these ceilings are the very minimum 12 feet tall because the statues are 12 feet tall.
Yep.
Speaking of which, can we look up real quick just to make sure there's nothing just sitting on the ceiling watching us this entire time?
Yeah, sure. When you look up, there's something with 6 arms and 6. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Ceiling, nothing.
Yeah.
Other than a lighting fixture, there is nothing up there.
Got it.
Can't believe Prince Gora was on the ceiling the entire time.
Haven't you ever played Ocarina of Time? The boss fight doesn't start until you look up.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well,
It's true.
yeah.
I'm gonna hit you with that one day. Don't worry.
Honestly,
all right.
Go ahead.
Is it perception or investigation to look for anything that might be sticking out here?
Investigation.
Sure. Cora's
Detail
gonna gesture for someone to come here to be his second set of eyes. Yelena.
Looking over here.
Other side of the
Okay.
room.
Cora's like looking over there. Stella.
Taking a nap on the couch.
Stitch.
Yeah. He will come and lend his eyes.
There's 4 eyelids between us.
Would someone like to help you, Lena? Cough, spicy boys, cough.
Nero, you're tall. Can you give me a hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, tall boy.
Yep.
Yelena is not
Nice.
doing so well today. She's completely distracted thinking about that dragon heart.
I like to
Yelena
think you're
just-
like,
Topples the entire bookshelf on themselves.
thinking like, oh, help me, and then just Nero just like awkwardly lifts you up, and then you just fall.
Yeah. You guys bring the bookshelf down on top of yourself. No, it's just it's awkward. You're a little distracted. Narrow is narrow, but you know, Yelena, you're really thinking about that heartstone and what it can do. You still feel the warmth in your palm where it was resting. As for Stitch and Core, you spend some time, again, about 10-15 minutes perusing through this very large, very dense shelf of books. And while the contents look like they predominantly belong to the Tetris family, those that stay here, a lot of Tafakari literature, books of poetry, books on finance, books on Gellian history, many things for some light reading. At least for an elf whose light reading could occupy several days and they wouldn't blink at it. You do find tucked away a small book that felt a little out of place, if only because its cover didn't have the same sort of... It looked like it was a cheaper quality book. And it is not that it was decorated on the spine with any name in particular. It stood out, and when you pull it down and open it up, you are surprised to find that inside, for several pages, are glyphs on every page for about 30 or 40 pages.
I think Core says, Stitch, I think I found something. It doesn't smell like rich people. Here we go.
What do rich people smell like exactly?
Pompous. He just says as he pulls up the book. It smells like, you know, several years of decay, must, and lint.
All right, that's actually very astute of you. I'll give you that. And he comes over and leans down and looks at the page. Looks at the book as you're kind of thumbing through the pages, just seeing the same glyph over and over again.
How many years of my life am I shaving off by doing this? Cora just says it. Through.
Well, the good news is, you and I are still both alive. The bad news is, we could at any moment cease to be. I would suggest mostly just not removing any pages from that book.
So, what do they do?
Have you ever stepped on a glyph that then subsequently exploded?
Once.
Well, now take that idea and have someone write it on a page in a book over and over again. I've actually heard Quill talk about this. The general idea would be to write them into a book, and then as necessary, when you cast the spell to do the glyph, have it so when removed from the book, there's a condition that they will fulfill. Either they'll detonate in a few seconds, or something along the lines of that.
So, this is a bomb book?
Simply, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep that in mind. A very good way to kill myself and or someone.
Mm-hmm. Or a room full of someone's, yeah. That is how that would work.
Well, I wonder if Constable wants a donation to his library. Cord just says as he closes the book.
Well, that's a thought for future planning.
That's a problem for the core of tomorrow. Anyway. Yeah, what's the book gonna have with evasion? That's exactly what he's gonna do. Core's just like, I trained my strength score for this day, and he's just like a phone book.
All right, well, we found a bomb. Did you guys find anything over there?
Nothing of note that I've seen.
I haven't really detected anything else that was giving off a malefic presence in here. I think as far as my job here is concerned, I'm finished.
Let me just sweep the bookshelf real quick, just to be sure. And then let's just stick around for our support to get here and make sure the Thetris girl is going to be taken care of.
Well, unless the adjutant is headed off on their way here, she'll get taken care of. You don't need to worry about that.
The Cord just kind of gives like a very like kind of a firm look, as if he's like, yeah, I figured, but still.
Yeah, fine. I'm gonna go dismantle the remains of the strawmen, you call them, to get them ready to move.
In Europe.
Oh,
Just tell me if I missed something, okay?
okay.
Core will make an investigation check with advantage.
Not bad.
You see, Core actually gets benefit out of being lifted up.
Yeah.
I like to think that Cora's just kind of looking at everything very diligently, and Nero's going, "Did you get this one? Did you see this one?"
I think that's literally how it's gonna go.
But then he actually points to one that Core missed.
Cora says nothing.
Core would be like, look at the brain on you.
Oh, thanks.
As for the contents of this bookshelf, there is nothing about it that does not fall into the theme or pattern of the bookshelf on the other side. Nothing stands out.
Okay.
While that's going on, Yelena is going to go about collecting these tarot cards.
Okay. You may collect the deck.
Just out of curiosity, she's gonna shuffle them and then just draw one card and look at it.
Ooh. Get my deck back out real fast.
It's death. It's all death.
Yeah. How many times would you like me to shuffle it?
She'll shuffle 3 times.
Would you like to cut it?
Yeah.
Okay. Roughly where in the deck would you like it cut? Like on a scale of like 1 to 100.
Halfway, 50.
Okay. And the top card is fun, because I can already tell it's reversed. The Chariot. Grab my hero resources back.
Oh man, it's reversed.
Yeah, it's reversed.
How many cards were you planning on drawing for your reading?
Just the one.
I don't think there's anything like such as like a 1-card reading, right?
Not officially, but if you believe in any amount of power in the deck, any card pulled for any reason can have power. All right, Yelena, again with your rudimentary knowledge of the deck, a reversed Chariot tells you to go forward with whatever plans you've made. Like, if there's something immediate that you were doing, to just green light it and go. However, it is usually done in a somewhat reckless manner. You are likely to experience bumps along the road, if you will.
I think she draws it, she looks at it, and she kind of mulls over what she knows, and kind of smirks a little bit. Just kind of how on the nose it is.
I will absolutely say reverse chariot is very Elena. It's moving forward with, I guess the best way to put it is with almost like a lack of direction. You're just sort of winging it.
Is there a box nearby or anything that seems to be meant to hold these cards?
There is a near black satin bag with a leathery drawstring that is lying on the table near the skull with the candle on top.
She will take that, place them inside, and put the cards safely away in her bag.
Okay. Please note in your inventory, Hag Tarot deck. In case it ever really needed to be asked, the Hag's Tarot deck is much uglier than the average tarot deck.
Oh yeah.
Its imagery is much more grim than normal. All right, so you've found a bomb book, several trinkets and goodies between the two statues, a somewhat cryptic note tucked away in what looks like a suit of Pops's ownership. You fought and defeated two strawmen in bed. You found a room full of spell components, an unconscious Thetris matron of some kind. What else, if anything, would you like to do prior to waiting for the healer to arrive?
Core is gonna, because his curiosity is gonna get the better of him. He's gonna examine the actual butchery of what's happened here, if he can ascertain what he thinks the potential damage might be, considering the amount of blood and everything like that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, he's like, oh, we're gonna serve... Literally, the way that note reads is, we're gonna serve you Pops for dinner.
Yeah, that's a fair interpretation. Mm-hmm.
We've turned Pops into the biggest straw man yet.
No, like, literally, he's like the appetizer. They, like, literally made, like, Pops Kabasi.
I hate it.
It did say hors d'oeuvres, so yeah, anything is possible.
Core will actually ask Haba to help out with this, since you are actually someone who would know more about the tools that would be actually used here.
This would actually be more of Nero's thing. He does a lot of the butchery and whatnot.
Yeah, alright. He'll get Nero over to help him out with this. And what do you want me to roll? Would this be like survival?
What exactly are you trying to ascertain?
So obviously something happened here, like, quickly and in a hurry. I think the thing that Core is trying to ascertain from this is, did they sever a limb? Did they carve him up? Is there, like, enough blood here to suggest that they did something to that effect? Or did they, like, wound him? Where are the cuts on the tables from the after the fact? How do those look? Kind of a follow-up on the investigation check here, just so he can maybe kind of get an idea of, like, what's happened here, and, like, how much of this blood is, like, fresher compared to everything else that might be here, because for all he knows, this could be more show than anything else.
Right.
This might just be an empty threat.
Okay. Again, we're gonna do a weird one. Make a medicine intelligence check.
I love that.
I think medicine should just be an int check to begin with, but that's just a Greg thing.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on its usage. A lot of the medicine, like field medicine, makes sense as wisdom because it's observations and then treating what you can see.
It's
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
the book knowledge versus, I'm gonna splint this with a couple twigs and
Yeah.
the satchel.
Yes, I know how to palpate an area and discover that you have a broken bone, and I know how to make a splint. Versus going, because the idea is if you're proficient in it, you've done the book learning, right? So like medicine. The fact that it's wisdom is how you apply the medicine.
Got it.
Also, they want clerics and druids to be good at it.
Yeah, mostly, but not religion. Okay, 21 is very good. With some help from Nero, you do receive two alarming details. One, there has been a significant amount of butchery that's occurred on this wooden tabletop in the past. Quite a bit, based off of the amount of notches and knife marks that have been carved into the wood. Nero could just sort of walk up and see the wear and go, yeah, this looks like what you'd expect to see a busy restaurant's butcher block to look like. It would just be just chipped and filled with edges. And this one was way less maintained. So this one's actually chipped and filled with edges, whereas a good one in a restaurant would not be. It would be well maintained and oiled.
Yeah.
The other detail is, especially with Nero's assistance, who again is the butcher boy between the two, there is approximately, again, the area was not cleaned up. The blood that has been left behind, there's approximately about a gallon's worth of blood, which your check will tell you is more or less the average amount in an average person's body. A little less than, but pretty damn near that. If it's outside of their body, they're probably not alive. Now, none of this guarantees that any of it belongs to Pops. It could still just be a stage show. But if it does not speak well of his current standing in life.
We did send a sending to him. And this was done yesterday at some point in a haste.
Yes. Could we do another?
No, we don't have Yelena's bone dry at the moment. When did we set the sending out? When did Yelena do that?
The one to Pops?
Yeah.
Hey, when in doubt, I'm gonna quickly peruse the recaps. It was literally 2 sessions ago. It was about a day ago. I would say less than 24 hours.
Okay, so Cora seems like he starts easing up after the investigation. This looks like more show than anything else. Okay. Because we won't know until we know.
You're hearing an occasional clatter and noise from down the hallways. You're seeing like bundles of twigs and branches that have been tied together being thrown out of the bedroom. Like bundles of firewood at this point.
Let's go help with the cleanup. We'll pass time until help gets here.
Yulia's gonna spend a little bit of the time to just count out the money that she picked up off the table.
Yes, and then Haba is going to go check on those herbs and whatnot before we leave. See if there's anything that he could use.
Oh, that's true. There's an entire supply closet we saved for last.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in the in-between, waiting for this healer to arrive, Yelena, you can spend some time and count out the coins. you will discover, amidst all of the coins on the table, you will count out 55 platinum, and about 130 gold pieces. By about, I mean exactly 130 gold pieces.
It's not a small haul.
Oh. As for the storage closet, for anyone interested in investigating it or perusing its contents, you may make an investigation check. So for anyone that is interested, you may throw one up.
Sweet. Can I get Nero's help for
Of course.
investigation?
How about may make one?
Ooh, I'm gonna spend an inspiration point. I'm gonna spend another inspiration point. I'm going to spend my final investigation point. I'm.
You guys are you should be so glad I did not choose today as a day to pick a fight with you guys.
Wait, I got the 23 because of the advantage already.
No, you don't.
Well, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Yeah, that's not how that works at all. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's definitely not.
So high of 13.
Big oop. Okay, so again, there is enough middling numbers there. So by and large, this room is what you'd expected it to be. It's filled with spell components. Any spellcaster would find a lot of these relatively useful or valuable. There are a lot of unusual ones as well. Again, there are jars filled with eyes. There are preserved whole animal carcasses stuffed in the jars. There are drying animals and innards hanging from these threads across between the shells, along with numerous different kinds of insects and crustaceans. There are various kinds of shells. Some are ground up, some are in chunks. And there are numerous kinds of lichen moss and things similar to it, and mushrooms, of which at the very least, Haba and Nero, some of these you could actually use for ingredients if you'd like. They're from a different part of the world, so at the very least, they would, make a noticeable difference in some food.
Okay. Sweet. All right, I will add those. What dice size am I looking at
A decent.
for these? D6? Got it.
Decent.
All right.
And the last thing, which is what Yelena finds, is the thing that's most interesting, and it was kind of hidden beneath a handful of other components. There is a small animal skull of some kind. You're not sure what. If you'd like to make a nature check, you might be able to find out a bit more specifics about it. But the thing that is most interesting about it is that it is gilded. Well, shucks, it's a squirrel skull.
Now I get the net 20.
On the most important thing, clearly. And it's gilded. And adorned with a small black onyx in either eye. Seems pretty valuable. If maybe a little weird.
She'll examine it. Thinking over some of her, vague knowledge about magic, can she pinpoint? Because this seems like a very specific material component.
It really does.
She knows many spells have very specific material components, and based by the value, this isn't something that she could substitute just waving her swords around or playing a lute.
Yep.
Can she try to get an idea of what spell this would be used for? Sure.
Make an Arcana check and see what you can pull from. Pretty good. You're right. This is a pretty unique spell component, very specific. While not overly familiar with the magic necessarily, You know this belongs to a necromantic summoning spell. To conjure forth an undead spirit.
I suppose I should have expected them to be dabbling in necromancy, considering not my kind of magic, but the component could be worth something if somebody would be willing to buy something so macabre. She'll pick it up and kind of place it with the coins that she's taken.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then. And Core has the Heartstone, right?
Yeah.
Just double check.
He has that stowed away in the bottom of his bag, so it's inconspicuous.
Okay. Any other little details before you want to do, before we're going to do our little jump to the arrival of the healer?
Actually, I want to text something because I know Core is knowledgeable about this.
What's that?
How thick is that box?
The one with the Heartstone?
Yeah.
It is about an inch thick at all points.
Okay, that's or Core really wanted to do. He'll make sure that that box is he'll make sure it's relocked.
Okay.
So that way it is completely sealed.
Mm-hmm.
I figure if Core is very good at smuggling, he probably knows the basics of how do you stop something that has magic from being detected. A thick metal box is probably the best way to, prevent that.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Make a history check too while you're at it.
Sure.
Let's see if we can't sprinkle on a little extra knowledge for that.
Okay, that's pretty good.
You also know another great way to prevent things, along with a handful of other magical effects from actually working, is the lead line things as well.
Is that box lead lined?
It is.
Okay.
It is actually why it is perhaps a little peculiar. Why it's a little unusual that Stitch was able to detect it.
I think I'm gonna approach him about that.
Oh yeah? Alright, well he's in the other room currently arranging body parts in one of the sheets on the bed to be tied up.
Hey, Stitch. I got a
Yeah.
question. How were you able to detect that thing through that box?
Really want to know?
Uh-huh. I absolutely want to know. If I run into someone like you and they happen to have my name on a list, that's a problem for me.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It should be.
Mm-hmm.
Short answer is blood magic.
Okay. Is there a measure against that? Or am I SOL?
Don't piss off the wrong people. The way that it works, specifically, I lucked out. It's the fact that it was a Heartstone in that box is the reason why I was able to detect it, because it more or less contains what is the essence that everything is made out of. Blood in mortals is the thing that is closest to that. So blood magic manipulates that. The fact that I'm able to use blood magic to sense things, the fact that it is in a similar vein, allowed me to detect its presence.
So, the right person at the right time with the right thing.
Yes, it's unlikely under most circumstances. And it's pretty rare that individuals that use blood magic are casually trying to, steal things. They're usually involved in more important problems at the time.
Understandable. I just need to make sure that there wasn't something I was missing about that.
And for the record, there is a type of magic that, if you know someone that is skilled in divination magic, there are a couple of spells that can prevent even blood magic from detecting something like that.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Does that answer your question?
Uh-huh. I just wanted to make sure, since I'm the one transporting the thing for the meanwhile, I need to make sure that it's going to be safe, and that isn't something I've come across of in my line of work.
And odds are you probably won't for the rest of your life, so...
I wouldn't say never.
Well, then you might as well prepare yourself for what's to come, then. Which mostly is, find a god and pray to it. People that use blood magic maliciously tend to be some of the nastiest people out there.
I'll figure something out. Alright, let me help you out with this, and I think that's all Core's got for inquiries.
Anybody else have any inquiries before we do our time skip? And what I'm going to say is going to be our first break of the session.
No, I think I'm good.
I'm waiting to save in some stuff for later.
Okay.
I can't believe that we're going to time skip 5 years.
5 years have passed.
Okay, time for the war phase.
Everyone has an eye patch except Core.
Why does Core get to keep his eyes?
But you look, and that one of his eyes is replaced with that witch eye.
God.
That's why he has 2 eyes.
I hate it, but I also love the idea.
Core is literally like walking around like that guy from Family Guy with peg legs for arms and peg legs for legs.
Well, Core's the most, like, paranoid. I don't think he would be he'd be the safest one. I think Nero would just be dead at that point if he wasn't able to just kind of just keep coming back.
Grim.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that said, like I said, first and probably only break of today, which is the reason why this is going to be slightly longer. It's going to be, if needed, 15 minutes. Otherwise, take the time you need, come back. And then if everyone's back by a certain time, we'll just keep going.
Okay.
Until then, 15 minutes, we'll be right back.
Right back.
I return. And so do you. How
Yes.
are we? Yay. I got both Cadence and Esmeralda up to level 30.
Nice.
And they are both at the same point in the story.
I got Reese Puffs.
You got Reese's Puffs. I just made some tea.
Back.
He
Welcome
has found his back.
No, I just became just my back. That's it. That's all that's left.
Isn't there like a joke character from like Sela 2021 that is just like the backside of a human torso or something like that?
Uh-huh.
No idea.
It just makes like caveman grunting sounds. It is 2021, finally.
All right.
Ugh.
Is everyone back?
Yes.
Present.
Sam is here. She's just with the baby.
Gotcha. Okie dokie then. In which case, we return. Remember to turn off the be right back. All right. We have returned. During the time in which you were waiting for this healer to arrive, you parsed through the supply room, helped Stitch pack up and separate the Strawman appendages into various bundles that he has segmented and then piled out in the hallway. And eventually, you hear a knock on the front door of the suite. Eventually, it gets a little impatient, and then you see Stitch finally go, all right, yeah, I got it. Hang on a second. I have a feeling I know who this is.
I don't suppose it's housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
They just let themselves in.
Oh no, they're cute.
You've seen them before.
Who is this?
Stitch opens the door, and in comes walking Star.
Oh,
Oh, this
we've
is.
seen their dog before.
We've never seen their token before.
No, you haven't. I have several adjutant tokens made up now. I'm still working on the rest.
I was gonna say, like, we know only one redhead.
She matches our party aesthetic. We have to recruit her.
Honestly, that's
Sorry, Core, you're out. Star, you're in.
Oh no!
Got him.
I can change.
Really? Let's give me some hair dye.
I want to be long.
Well, you would be surprised when I got a message saying that somebody needed some desperate healing, and so here I am. And all of you look more or less fine, except for you, Core. You look terrible.
Thanks. I mean, I'd say the same for you, but you
You'd
look
be lying.
pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
All
I'm
right,
surprised you didn't make a comment about Stitch. But I guess I see where your priorities lie. Cora just says
She puts
see,
the
this is why I did
she
it.
puts a hand up so like it's towards Stitch, so mockingly, so he can't he can't hear her. Yeah, except he always looks like that. All right, all right. Jokes aside, seriously, the person you need attention on is in there.
We found one of the Tafakari elves, the one that the hag was impersonating. They're in some kind of stasis, and I'm afraid that if we did anything,
Killer?
they'd probably they are more fragile than cracked glass, if you catch my drift.
No, I actually don't. But I'll see what I can do. And, you go in, and with a little bit of effort, remove the lid off of the top again, revealing the elf within. Okay, no, never mind. Hang on, I see what you're talking about. No, that kind of makes sense. She's in pretty rough shape. Let me see what I can do. And she begins working through a couple of various spells to get a gauge on the situation.
As she's doing that, Yelena's gonna just casually play a couple strings on her lute and pass her a bardic die.
Okay.
Or
Just in
will
case.
try to offer whatever advantage he can to them if there's maybe a skill check or something like that. Because Core did spend some time investigating like their physical
Mhm.
well-being.
There is an opening medicine check that is required.
Okay.
Oh. Happily take it.
If I could offer guidance, I would, but I do not have that spell. I can cast light on them. That's about it.
And rolled overwhelmingly average. We're gonna add that bardic inspiration die. Nice. I'm rolling just so wonderfully today. I see. It's everyone's trend. All right, gotcha. A few minutes go by. There's a tentative medical check that is done with some oversight. Yes,
I have a
or-
question. Can I offer them, because they're an NPC, my inspiration, or is it only exclusively to my rolls? Okay.
It's you. You and no
Okay.
one else.
Okay, me and no one
NPCs that I want to have inspiration do gain inspiration.
Okay. Good to know.
Which, for the record, you will only ever see allies use inspiration. People that you can generally will have as a friend.
Ah, I see. Well, there was
Enemies-
never hope to begin with.
Enemies have their own mechanics to accommodate for inspiration. So yeah, the process begins with a medical check, which is overseen by Core and Stitch, kind of offering some advice here or there. And then she works through a series of spells. More commonly, there's a detect magic that's involved, a detect good and evil. There is a identify that is cast as well. And by the end of it, you see her futz through her belt, which is just numerous pouches and bags tied off. And she stops on two. One of which she removes. She unties the bag from her belt, sets it on the side, and then another one she reaches into a flip open leather pouch and pulls out a vial of clear liquid and what looks like a wooden ring that's segmented 12 different times. She pulls open the satchel of the bag. She pulls a string open on the satchel. She pours out this glittering dust into her hand, and then she puts it between both of her palms and kind of rubs them together, and then she speaks a few arcane words and then throws the contents of her hands over the top of the Tafakari elf. The glitter kind of holding in place in space above the elf for a moment, kind of glittering like hundreds of stars. And the glittering gets brighter and brighter, and then eventually there's a brief flash of opalescent light that spreads and then is almost absorbed into the elf. And then Star's kind of nodding to herself. And then we'll take the wooden ring, the 12 segmented wooden ring, and affix it over the vial of clear liquid, to which she'll hold up to her chest just underneath her chin, this time saying what almost sounds like a prayer, and then we'll uncork it and then feed it to the woman. And without any immediate or obvious effect, Star just kind of stands back and plants her hands on her hips and lets out a sigh. Well, it's as much good as I can do here. That last spell is going to take a little bit of time to really get her on her feet, but a lot of this atrophy she suffered will start to heal. She's going to need to go through a bunch of physical therapy to really recover where she was before, but she will at the very least not stand up and then crumple to the ground whenever she regains consciousness. which should be anytime in the next minute or in the next hour, depending.
We should probably move them out of this room. It's colder than a witch's tit.
It's funny. It's a hag joke. Okay. Sure. Well, is there a bedroom in this place?
We don't want to put them there. The hallway would probably be good enough.
There's got to be
There's a
couch or something here.
Yeah.
There it is down the hall.
Okay. Let's take her there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you guys just want to lead the way, I'll do the heavy lifting. She casts another spell, and you watch as the body begins to levitate. And then she just sort of grabs the elf by the foot and just begins leading her.
Stupid imagery.
Easier than a hag.
Oh, yes. Substantially easier. Oh, those hags are heavy. Like, who knew ugly was so dense, you know?
They're the complete package.
Oh, nice stonework. Oh, except the butchery table. Not a fan of that.
Oh, since you're here, we found something that, probably very worth talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Something you need to... Oh, okay. Hang on. I've prepared myself. You want to repeat that?
Heartstone.
Like draconic heartstone? And she looks to Stitch, and Stitch nods. Oh, excellent. Can I see it?
Nope.
Uh,
Localized to that part of your backpack.
yeah, go
At
course.
this time of at this hour.
Borealis.
No. Okay then. Cor will start carefully pulling it out from the bottom of his backpack. And I assume he's going to be able to unlock the thing again since you got it open to begin with.
Yeah.
Cor just says, just give me a second. I didn't want to take any chances with this considering the contents. Then there we go.
Set it out near her.
Cor doesn't open it. In fact, he is going to just take a step to the side and let them do the honors of opening it themselves.
Okay.
You know, presentation or whatever.
Star will undo the latch, and then very slowly, they're like, and her eyes are almost like wild with excitement.
It's just that Pulp Fiction Marcel as well as his soul.
Very slowly open it, and like there's a moment where you experience it yourself, that waft of warm air. It hits her, and she's like, "Oh," and then opens it all the way. And you see her just stare at it, and she's again just wild, sparkling eyes.
If you'd like a closer look, I'm capable of handling it.
Actually, well, I wanted to try something. And you see a magical red floating hand conjured before you, and it reaches down and attempts to pick it up, and it manages to pull it from its housing in the box for a moment, and then the hand disintegrates. Oh, it's that hot. Gotcha. Yes, please.
Elena will pick it up and kind of hold it in her palm, slightly shifting it every once in a while. As the heat kind of starts settling in one place, she shifts it to another.
Ooh. This is a real find. The hags had this?
It was stored in the same place as various other cursed items, so it's safe to assume that it was in their possession.
So, surprised. Figured they would have been more competent if they would have had one of these sitting around here. They could have probably at least, not died. So how much
they
do you
were-
want for it?
Yelena's head kind of instinctively closes around it.
Core just like literally just says, so you get your power from a money god, right?
No. Partially. Why?
No reason.
What? I like I like shiny objects, and I shouldn't be judged based on that. All right.
I'm having a go at you, all right? I gotta
Mhm,
get
I
my
can
jabs
tell.
in where I can, all right?
No, but seriously, how much do you want for it?
I can't give you that answer. We don't know what's going
Alright.
on with any of it.
All right. Well, opening bid. Just remember, I put it in first. 50,000 gold.
Holy sh!
Yeah. If you come back to this shop right now, I have the money on hand. I'll pay it to you straight up. Even exchange.
Out of character. That almost.
I mean, do you want a deed to an estate? Do you want some? Do you want a manor? I can do that too. I have a few. Or do you want some land outside the city? You can start a farm. Or how about a boat? I know a guy that's selling a boat.
A fish devil. He's selling a boat.
It happens to be in the shape of a giant fish, but other than that, it's perfectly serviceable.
It's a fish taco. I mean, Core actually does stare when she actually puts the offer like 50,000 there, because he's just sitting here like, what am I even gonna do with that much money? But I think
Retire.
like literally just looks towards Yelena, and I mean, he sees the gesture that Yelena is making and just says, we'll think about it, okay?
75,000. That's my final offer.
Whoa.
Is it though?
Make an insight check.
How to derail a campaign 101.
Like,
Or it's like, what? We hand it off the Star. Literally next session, Star's dead, but we have 100,000 gold pieces. We skip town.
Wow, Yelena, you're really hitting the important natural 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, everyone else, yeah, you kind of caught up in the moment. Yelena, though, because you're so transfixed on trying to, not just pass this off. Star is definitely willing to still go higher.
Personally, I'm more interested in what you know about the power of these things.
What more do you need to hear other than the fact that it's the soul of a dragon? They have nearly unlimited uses. You could do so many things with it. You want to burn down a whole country? You can start with one of those. Do you want to create a light system that could illuminate the whole city? You use that as the power source. You want to create perpetual motion in a ship? You use that. Literally can be used to fix just about any problem you can possibly think of. They're also usually at the center of most of the most powerful artifacts in history.
And if somebody wanted to infuse themselves with that kind of power,
They'd probably die. Let's see. I really don't know if I could provide an adequate comparison between. Actually, yeah, I can. Hang on. And she reaches into one of her belt pouches and pulls out a small handful of sand, and then very
She has
carefully
pocket sand.
pulls out. Yeah, she's got pocket sand, and then very carefully pulls out a single grain of it and puts the rest of it back into her pouch. So, a mortal soul is this? And she holds up the grain of sand in one palm. A dragon soul, and not even an ancient dragon soul, but a dragon that's lived for, a couple hundred years at minimum to maybe a couple thousand years, is more or less the equivalent of what you're holding in the box, or I guess in your hand. Now, could you imagine trying to fit all of that into a grain of sand? The vessel meant for it would just cease to exist. It would get reduced to... It wouldn't even... It would be reduced to further than ashes. It would just cease. I mean, someone I'm sure is trying somewhere in the world to make that dream a reality. Sure, I'm probably there are enough crazy people that like to experiment with magic. Do I think anyone's going to be successful? No, probably not. Any handful of successes will definitely have terrible side effects, if not eventual or instantaneous death a few moments later.
Yelena, if I could. I get it. I get what you want. But let's just take this slow and weigh every option. We fly too close to the sun and we get burned. And once your wings melt...
Was the inquiry about the infusing of this thing into a person for one of you?
No.
Core just gives a shrug. Like he actually doesn't know.
Because that's what I'm feeling like you guys are talking between me about now, and I really have to highly advise against it. I mean, let's be honest, you come to my shop to get magical stuff, none of you guys have any idea what you're doing.
I'm simply trying to find out more about this thing and what it can do.
Well, if you really want, like, the down-to-details arcane specialties, you gotta go talk to Quill. Or nobody, if you can get him talking. But you should probably go to...
Do you think all this magic would give nobody a personality?
No.
That's rough.
Yeah. I think his overwhelming mundanity would still eat it.
See, we should be trying to harness that as a power source.
He already has. That's why he's as powerful as he is.
I've found only one person who might be his equal. Core just says as he's just sitting on the couch. But that's a conversation for another day.
Are you sure? I think that alarms me.
Well, I'm just gonna say right now that the fish devil might be able to take him.
All right, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. No, but seriously, 85,000 gold. And a boat.
Oh. Could then sell the boat too.
First off, I don't want to be nowhere near the sea.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's nice. No, actually, no. You really don't go sailing around these parts. You definitely go to the east coast of the continent if you're going to go sailing. West coast, you just die. But yeah, seriously, go to the east coast, though. It's lovely. Belmont this time of year? Oh.
Which
Great.
coast have I been on? Core just thinks on this. Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
There's a reason why it isn't common for people to go sailing in these parts. The ocean to the west of you is literally known for killing pretty much anyone that's dumb enough to put a boat on it.
What I'm hearing is we're going to put a boat on it.
You know what I'm hearing is that's where the fish devil is taking us.
Yeah, if you go fishing with the fish devil, yeah.
The one man known to conquer the west coast.
He's gonna go get his white whale.
The white kraken.
Oh.
It's just a normal kraken. The kraken's the bait.
I'm sure they'll consider your offer. She puts the heart back in the box It's a group decision after all.
How about this? You still get first dibs if we're gonna do anything with it, okay?
I better.
Hey, after all the help that you've been,
What I'm
of
saying,
course.
I'm literally storing dead bodies for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Technically, you're storing them for the adjutants who we're working with.
Details.
And the organs are for yourself.
Well, that's fair.
By the way, there's a room full of reagents down the
Ooh.
hall if you wanted to take a look at that.
I will probably scoop them up. But as I was saying, in my defense, for all the hag organs, I was going to cut you guys in on their sales. Yeah, because you did most of the hard work of killing them. So I figured it was only fair. I give you a 30% finders.
For real? Okay.
But I'm reasonable in business. I mean, yes, I like my money, but I don't hoard. Well, okay, I do hoard it, but I do business fairly. Besides, that'll encourage you to bring me more stuff.
Oh, well, speaking of things, while we're waiting for this woman to wake up, she's gonna pull out the gilded skull. Any interests in this spell component?
For my spellcasting, personally, no. But could I sell it? Absolutely. She stares at it a little bit.
Or looks at that and just says, "That's got onyx, and I know enough about onyx to know that that's bad juju."
Well, I mean, you're entirely not wrong, depending upon the circles you like to travel in. That is used for summoning undead. Literally pull spirit from the other side, probably an angry one, and you stuff it into a body and reanimate it. And that's that.
It's not something that I assume any of us will be doing, hence why I'm offering it.
It's actually Nero that makes a grab for it.
I was about to make the joke about like Nero might, and then I'm like, wait, no.
We rip Nero's soul from Scath and put him in a body.
Give me one of these corpses here. Give me the.
Yeah, just saying. Yeah, I'll buy it from you. Swing by the store later with it if you're interested. I'll take it off your hands.
That's it. Tucks it back away.
You find anything else interesting?
I found a death book.
Like you write someone's name in it and they die?
That would be pretty strong, but I wish.
Yeah.
No, this just has a bunch of explosive runes in it.
Oh, bomb book. Yeah.
Bomb book. That's what I called it.
Yeah, I sell those. They're in aisle 2.
Just bought one of these?
No, I sell them.
No, I could have just bought one of them.
Oh yes, you could have bought one of them. They're expensive though, in defense. So it's nice that you found one.
How much do they sell for?
Depending upon how many glyphs are in the book.
I think there's 40 in here.
Because the important part about the glyphs is that the glyphs cost money to cast. And then of course, time and resources in terms of magical usage.
You don't here. Just take a look at the book.
Yeah, okay. She'll take it off your hands and kind of thumb through it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was having some pretty creative thoughts with it, but then I remember the last time that I bothered to tinker around with something and it blew up in my face.
I mean, that's fair. And there's a lot in here. You wouldn't want this to just blow up in your face.
Oh yeah, if it happened, I probably would just be a smoldering pair of boots.
Yeah. That being said, she's like counting. There are about 35 pages in here. I mean, each casting a spell eats up about, I don't know, 200 gold pieces of like powdered diamond and incense. Again, the time it takes to cast, someone's been working on this for a little while. Sunk quite a bit of money into it. I mean, heck, this book alone goes, just based off the expenditures for the cost for the overhead, is a couple thousand gold pieces.
Jeez.
If I were selling this to someone, I'd probably charge them like 10,000 gold.
And if you were buying it from someone to sell later?
She gives you a look.
I mean, that's also what I was thinking too.
Well, given how I know how you came into it, probably 8.
I think that's fair enough.
Core thinks on this. I'll be honest, as useful as it could be, I've got some pretty rotten luck. And, being honest, I'm in a real bind for cash.
You can always give it to someone else to carry, that is. If you have bad luck.
Yeah, but still. 8,000 is nothing to scoff at. And
Oh, no, not at all. Again, a lot of time and effort went into this. Matter of fact, there are a bunch of spellcasters that from the academy that in their downtime, when they have excess, when they've got some excess power left over, I tell them to do this, to write pages, glyphs on pages, over the course of a couple of years while they're going to school, then sell them to me because I'll pay them more, and I usually help them pay off their debts from the from the school.
Does the academy know that you're hiring their students to create bombs in mass production?
No, and they don't need to.
She gets a little bit of a smirk.
She's gonna slip you a platinum coin.
She'll take it.
Wow, you're just making all the money today. Yeah, would you believe that we picked the wrong rooms to bet on when we were going through here?
That's a shame.
Yeah. She
I'm
won
just-
both bets.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Well, women's intuition, what are you gonna do? Can't really beat it.
Or has no comment.
After sitting and bantering for 20 minutes or so, the elven woman on the couch begins to stir.
Yeah, Core wants to make sure that she's wrapped in a blanket and has a pillow that's propped up for their head at the very least.
Yeah, the comforter from the bedroom is free to use.
Yeah, I'm just hesitant to do that because of the nature of what was there.
Yeah, well, it could have been cleaned.
Okay.
Magic is a hell of a drug. It's fine.
So she's coming to then, right?
Yeah, she's stirring. She's making noises. She's kind of like turning from side to side now, kind of like watching someone wake up, early in the morning when they don't want to.
Okay. Core is going to probably address them. He's going to say, to everybody, oh, she's waking up. Hey, take it slow and take it easy. You've been out for a while and you're not in the best of shape. Do you remember your name?
I told you not to wake me up this early.
Are you Orina?
Keep asking me stupid questions. I'm gonna fire you, Thadric.
My name's not Thadric.
And this is when for the first time, she sort of stops moving and rolls over, and one of the eyes kind of slowly open and sees you.
Yep.
And the orange-brown colored eyes kind of begin to focus, and you begin to watch as the lights begin turning on, and she finally begins to realize the situation she thought she was in is not what she thought she was in.
Yeah. Can I ask to roll persuasion check as Core just tries to very calmly just reassure them?
Yep.
Okay.
That would be wise.
Core begins by saying, you were hurt pretty recently and pretty badly. Try not to be too startled about this. You are in your home. You're on the couch, but like I said, you're in some pretty rough shape. And this kind of goes on to say, "My name is Core, and we're here. We were basically sent here to take care of some really nasty supernatural things. You're safe." And I'm gonna roll persuasion, and I'm going to use my inspiration.
You've got 1 point left, right?
Uh-huh. Holy shit. Okay. That's pretty rough. It's still a 13, which is not bad.
But for you, that's a 3.
Yeah.
So it's bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody helping me out, but whatever. It's fine.
You watch as the early signs of her consciousness really kind of coming back up to the surface begins to take root. You do initially see the tension that suddenly gathers in her body, but then you also see the wince of pain kind of ripple across her face as your warnings she finds hold true. She does push herself up on one hand, trying to release some of the tension that she had, but keeping some of it there, like she's on guard. She kind of observes her surroundings, taking everyone that's standing.
Yeah, Core is gonna ease off as best as possible because he sees that she doesn't trust him. And Core says, "I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm sure that you have a lot. It doesn't sound like you remember a whole lot. So, let's start with this. What's the last thing that you remember?" And I and the rest of my companions here will do our best to fill in the blanks. There are adjutants here from the what was it? Out of character, it's the 6th district.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. There are adjutants here from the 6th district. One of them is Star actually a cleric?
You know. She's very eclectic in terms of her nature. You don't know.
Yeah, Core is going to say one of them is practiced in some healing arts.
Hello. Starways. Orina turns and looks at her.
Core tries to make sure that his prairie necklaces are a little bit more on display than they usually be, just because it's a sign of, like, being part of, like, faith that is known for, like, actually trying to help people. Core would also gesture to Yelena, and he would just say that her name is Star. That's Yelena.
Yelena just gives a nod.
Last thing that I can remember. I was having an argument with my mother, and then there was a very loud knocking on the door, and it was very persistent.
Out of character, Thaedric, was that the name of the Tafakari elf that was downstairs?
No.
Okay.
You've not met a Thaedric that you can remember.
Okay.
Do you remember what date it was on that day?
She, like, really closes her eyes and thinks hard on that.
And take your time, Ward. There's no rush for you to give us an answer immediately.
I don't remember the exact day. I just know it was sometime in Sealgare.
What day is it? What time is it now? Like, what is the date?
You are in the last week of Stuthen. Sealgare is 3 months ago. In the previous year. Sealgare is the last month of the year.
Oh, 3 months last year. Okay.
Yeah, so it's since you're in the 29th day of of the current month. Every month is approximately 36 days. It's been almost 90 days.
Okay, Cora is going to ease up. He kind of tenses when he actually hears her say that. Kind of playing that botched persuasion check a little bit. You said what month is it?
Stuthen.
Okay. Well, there isn't going to be an easy way to tell you this, but it is currently Stuthen.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask you a question.
Go
What
ahead.
happened to me?
You were attacked by a hag coven. One of them assumed your identity.
And what have they done with my name and my face for the last few months then?
Add a character. Can Core answer that effectively?
Core can answer it with as much knowledge as he knows.
Sure. So they've just been maintaining a status quo. As far as he knows, right?
Mm-hmm. And as you've been witness to, making some illicit underground deals to buy children.
Okay, so they've been slandering their name, basically.
Possibly.
Core is going to say, I will give you the answer that you were asking for, but you are not going to like the information that I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to ask that you brace yourself for the news I'm going to give you, okay?
I'd ask you stop treating me like a delicate flower and get on with the point.
All right. They've been using your identity to make illicit deals in the underground to buy children.
Great.
Of course, demeanor actually seems like he shifts a little bit when they are being a little bit more firm, as if he's going to actually respect this.
Well, it's not like people don't already think low enough of Tafakari as it is. It's not going to be very good for my family's name if that gets out.
Beyond that, outside of those underground dealings, I think that they've been maintaining mostly a status quo. Most people, I would say, a majority of people are not aware of what has been happening here in this household.
And what of my staff?
I don't have enough information to answer that. We were only able to find you. One of the rooms has been transformed into a storage place for other victims of these hags, and I kind of Core actually pauses a bit before taking a deep breath, and then says, I had to take a guess. I would also say that your parents have fallen victim to the hags. we found 2 bodies that were in a bedroom suite, and they were in a condition that would be best left undescribed.
And what makes you think they are my parents?
Core would mention the hands. Basically mentioned like we found, like the way the Strawmans were, they had like Topakari elf-like hands, right?
The ones that you fought recently did. Not all of them.
Yeah, the ones that we fought recently did, and they were
Yeah.
like holding hands together.
Mm-hmm.
Core would say, the positioning of the bodies and the fact that the hands were positioned beside each other, and they intentionally had the bodies clasping hands before they animated to attack us.
Show me.
I will, but you're not in condition to walk. I will bring what can be identified over to you.
You see Stitch kind of huff and sort of like half roll his eyes, and he turns around and begins walking down the hallway to go get the bags.
Core just like looks at him and just says, "Don't give me that look."
You'll watch as Lorena sits up now. Her feet are still tucked underneath her, but she's sitting upright, shoulders back. A very, very strong posture. Eventually, Stitch returns with the bundled up sheets, and will set them on the now cleared table. And then just very unceremoniously just sort of undo the knot that he tied the sheets together, and they'll sort of unfurl. And inside, organized very neatly and tied together with some twine, are the various dark elf body parts that composed the 2 strawmen that you fought. Silently, you just watch as Ulrina sort of observes, stares at the pile for a moment.
This is not the only time that we've dealt with these types of things. I would not have a very optimistic outlook for any staff that had any association with this floor. There are others who were under your family's employment who are still here who do not know what's happened here. We've been here for maybe the better part of an hour and a half.
Well, one of your assertions is incorrect. Those are not my parents. I suspect my parents are probably still happy and on the estate in the country. Those are 2 of my servants. And she'll point to one of the hands, where there is a tattoo of silver on the underside of one of the wrists. That was Thadric's.
I'm sorry.
Well, it is what it is. He will be missed.
For what it is worth, the coven's been dismantled. 3 of the 4 are dead.
And of the 4th?
They have fled away, but they are not going to get away with this.
You know where they have fled?
I do not know, but they do have associates with people operating within the 4th district. some rather powerful individuals.
You know any names? Any names you can
A-
certify?
Constable.
You see a bit of a contained snarl creep up onto her lips.
Judging by your expression, it seems you know enough about him. You can probably put two and two together about why they were purchasing children.
I don't want to begin guessing, because I don't need to. I know. Constamin is a demon, in as many ways of the word as you can imagine. And that's why I'm very upset I'm not going to be able to do anything about it.
Well, I don't intend on taking any of the stuff that's happened belly up.
Yeah? And what do you plan on doing to him?
Well, at the moment, he's invited us to the circle ball that is coming up in a few days. He's currently holding one of our friends hostage.
I doubt that'll be for long.
He's already made a very ominous threat in the way of, well, he might have been held here at one point. And there was a note here implying something about hors d'oeuvres.
Hmm.
Could be an empty threat. Could be some sick joke. I don't know.
Sounds accurate, is what it sounds like.
Either way, there's a game to play, and we're gonna play it.
Do you have any experience in Gillian politics?
I am not gonna bullshit with you. I grew up outside the walls in a gutter. So I know I am way out of my depth.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is a offer,
No.
No.
It's not.
Ah,
Because the point I was trying to make is that as someone who is well versed in it, I'm staying my hand as much as I would like retribution. Certain individuals who, when you choose to engage with, there is a cost in toppling them. To topple Constamon would break my family. It would drive us into the very gutter that you crawled out of.
I can understand that.
Which is to say, there is a reason why the most wealthy run the city. They all have a number floating over their heads. And if you can supply a number that is larger than theirs, you may supplant them in whatever way you wish. That is how the city works. Everyone has a value. And if you can bring a sum that is greater than their value, you may decide what happens to them. You're picking a fight with someone whose number is incredibly high.
Out of character, we're just talking about Dragon Ball Z now, right? My number's bigger than yours.
I was actually
Parallels are bullshit.
referencing, at least in my head, my headcanon, more Death Note, but yeah.
Core says. Well, the way I see it, either we do something, or we don't do something. And we go that route, it's gonna fall back on us eventually.
Will it? What has he done that you need to go rectify so greatly? What would happen if you ceased your pursuit right now?
I come from the same place that these kids are being scooped up from. People who don't have anyone.
Mm-hmm.
They go missing, and there's not going to be a single person out there who is going to care.
Mm-hmm.
And someone like that is going to do some pretty unthinkable things. And that could be me. I mean,
It's going to
well,
be if you keep chasing.
well, I don't have much. And they already got someone who I owe quite a bit. Am I just gonna let this, I don't know, this demon just take and take and take until I got nothing left?
You value your life, yes.
And if I don't?
Then you will find out that the number above your head and the number that the other individual that you've spoken of holds over you will then soon be paid up. That is how this city works.
Then I think it's time to crash the market.
You wouldn't be the first to want to do that.
Uh-huh.
Do you think you're going to topple the institution that is this city? Because
No.
you have so badly the desire to do it, like the thousands upon thousands of individuals that suffer and squalor outside the city walls?
No, but I think if I'm going to die, then I think I should at least get to choose the way that happens. I think I should at least be able to choose how I'm going to live my life, how I'm going to go about it, and what that's going to be. And as far as I've got here, well, hey, long shot's a long shot.
Yeah. That much is for certain.
Besides, right now, I mean, that's just what it is. Lofty ambitions aside, do you have any other questions? Why don't we focus on you for a little bit?
I have no further
can we do?
questions.
Okay, then what can we do for you right now? Do you want something to eat? Is there something we can do?
Leave.
Shoot. That's it?
Yes. You've informed me of everything I need to know. I have people I need to contact now to help deal with this problem. But I am not helpless. And if the threat has been dealt with, you don't have anything to worry about with me. I'm assuming, given your nature, you're going to want to receive payment for having saved me.
Core just says, we found valuables that they had stashed away. We assume they were yours. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to ask you for money.
Well, of course I will if they were mine. But everything is dealt in values here in this city, or have you not been listening? My life is valuable to me. I will pay you back a portion of my worth. She looks around, her eyes eventually going over towards the one statue in the corner of the room where you found the gemstones and the large sack of money.
They're still just resting beside the statue.
Mm-hmm. I see you found it. Would one of you be so kind as to bring the satchel over here?
Yelena looks at Nara.
Yeah, I got it. Nero will go grab it.
Set it down on the table.
Boop, boop, he's back.
Mhm.
And he does it.
For your time and effort in rescuing me, I will pay you the timely sum of 500 platinum. Please take the time to count it from the bag, take it and leave.
Yelena's just gonna go quietly about counting it. She respects that she wants nothing to do with us.
Of course, seems a little bit more like adamant, but kind of is just kind of quiet, like looking at them, sort of like, you know, like maybe silently challenging their beliefs.
The longer you sit there, the more you begin watching strength return to Lady Thetris. Again, her stance and her form being straighter, the way that her body settles a bit more natural. And you are watching, it's kind of unusual as, again, the atrophied parts of her body, you watch as the muscles kind of begin rebuilding as Star's spell continues to work its magic, if you will.
It's certainly interesting to watch.
But it takes about 10 minutes. You count out the coins under the watchful eye of Lady Thetris. And as you are counting the 500th coin, she basically she raises a hand. All right, that is your payment. On your way out, please allow the building manager to know I would like to see him.
I'm sure we can handle that. Yelena kind of scoops the platinum into a bag and gives a short bow. Have a pleasant day.
You see Star like raise a finger like she's thinking to say something, and then you hear a Stitch go, mm-hmm. And she sighs and gets up and begins walking.
I think Cora's probably going to be the last one out the door.
As everyone's leaving, Star's gonna fall in line behind Yelena. Okay, 100,000 gold, final offer.
I believe that's your fourth or fifth final offer.
No,
so far.
it's my second final offer. I didn't final offer the ones in the middle, just the first and last one.
She keeps walking.
Come on.
I think before Cora just is out the door, Cora's just gonna say some parting words, and you'll just say, "You know, these hacks took some people from me too. I know about connections. consider keeping contact. I'm sure you'll need maybe useful people in the future.
Come up with anything of value, you know where to find me.
Just focus on getting yourself together in the meanwhile. Corp just looks, you know, pretty firm on that. Just trying to be genuine here with, like, you know, the way he's kind of coming across.
Make another persuasion check on your way out.
All right.
See how genuine it felt.
There we go.
You just get a silent, firm nod. As
With that acknowledgement, he just turns and goes to leave. Hoping that maybe his bad attitude reached her or something like that. I don't know. Before he, like, I think just whispers to, like, Star, how much more money are you gonna fucking offer? Just very, like, God.
I don't know. I'm still just trying to figure out, alright? I want it.
Uh-huh.
What are you even gonna do with it if you do get it?
I have ideas.
That's not comforting.
Why not? What, seem
You
like
didn't
some sort
give
of villain to you?
specific- No, I mean, no.
Hey, Star,
But-
how much trouble do those stairs give you?
None? Why?
None? Wow, can I pay you a platinum to carry me with my short legs down these 12 flights of stairs?
You know what?
Small-
Sure. Easiest platinum I've ever made.
You're a saint.
And she turns around and she taps you on the head and casts levitate on you, then ties a string to you.
I'm a balloon! That's actually what comes out of his mouth.
Anyone else? Platinum piece per balloon transformation.
Delia is going to take out her loot, strum a couple of strings, cast fly on herself, and glide down the stairs
Fair, fair.
just to be extra.
No one else? All right. And you begin working your way down the 12 flights of stairs.
I think that's probably a good place to stop.
As you exit the building, after passing along the good word to the building manager that Lady Petrus would like to see him, you exit the steps of this fine abode into the twilight hours of the night, the sun having set about an hour ago. You stand on the precipice of the remainder of the evening with a little bit more wealth to your name, a couple of very interesting items and objects, and a bit more of a clear, defined goal for what your intentions are in the future. And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
Woo! Thank you for running.
Yes.
Thank you all for playing,
Thank
as
you for
always.
running.
And in case you didn't see it in chat, we all get 142 platinum.
Thank you for divvying up the the cost.
Yep, that's 1,420 gold, right?
Attach a 0 onto the end.
Yep, that's
But platinum is lighter. If I put that much gold in my inventory, Yelena becomes encumbered.
Yes.
Nero.
Hmm.
Core is going to give you 25 platinum pieces.
What for?
I owe you.
Oh,
Yeah. You let me 250 gold pieces before. This is yours. I don't leave my debts unpaid.
Thanks. Thank you.
Also, a last gentle reminder before we part ways to Mr. Greg. Don't forget.
Yes.
You've got a sword on
I know
layaway.
about. Yeah, I know about my sword.
Okay. Just saying. Like you just came into some money. I was like, all right, I just want to mention.
How much was it? Like for the total?
Oh, hang on.
It was like.
Someone else might have a better note, but hang on, let me go find it. I did write it down, but it's like
your sword was like 8,000 gold pieces or something
like,
ridiculous like that.
No,
it was a lot.
It was in the thousands for sure, but
was it?
I was thinking more around like the 2,000 range, if I'm not mistaken, but.
I mean, you would know. You would have a receipt. You put a 200 gold deposit on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say
this money. Yeah.
I'm going to say that was 10% of the cost.
So 2,000 even.
Yeah, that seems like a good way to handle it. You're almost there.
Almost, yeah. I'm actually,
but you guys have some other
really
things
close.
that you in your position that you can sell off. And I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could ask Star in advance for some of the money on the hag sale, the hag organ sale, given that she's revealed to you that she's going to be paying you guys for when they push. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
gonna need it for
taking out loans is the thing. I'm just.
Yeah. I'm gonna need it when Consummon enters his second phase, where he turns half dragon.
But Consummon,
half dragon.
like, yeah, I mean, like, Consummon's gonna like come out, and there's just gonna be like glam lights that show up, and he's just gonna be like, "So you finally showed up for your just desserts," and Tops's head is gonna be like in a gelatinous cube or something like that.
Nah, I don't think he's a dragon because he's probably eaten dragon before. But again, I don't know if dragons in the city ate other dragons.
They really did.
I mean, out of character, I think it was a little on the nose when she called him a demon.
Oh, I mean,
Can't
in every sense of the word.
I mean,
can't believe this is gonna come back to like the minor villain and chorus background, and it's just literally going to be why am I blanking on their name?
It's gonna be like in the comics with like what, like, is he just called the Negative Flash or whatever? Where like he just like we just does the most inane things just to mess with the Flash.
It was me, Barry. I was your first kiss.
Yeah, literally. Just, anything bad that has happened in your backstory could be like backtracked to Consummon in some way.
It wasn't a long time ago, Cor. I went by the name Sebastian. It was me, Cor. I was Sebastian.
Do we want to do XP real quick before run away?
Please, let's do experience real quick because you guys are pretty close to leveling up. So let's see if we can
give
knock
me
this
evasion.
Well, what do you guys got today? What do you feel?
I think we held off last week on goals because we weren't exactly sure what was going to happen with our Topicary friend.
She lived.
But she's alive, and even if she's not planning on being particularly helpful, we still,
Yeah.
Saved her and got paid for it.
Yeah.
That's a goal.
Yeah. Is that a goal? I mean, yeah.
Yep, saving her is a goal. We did it.
True.
You did.
I don't think we've had a setback, unless you want to say not finding.
We can't verify anything about this, but we might know a little bit more about concept. Well, actually, no, that would be main plot stuff, wouldn't it? I don't know.
I feel like this Heartstone is honestly a big enough find to be considered a discovery.
Yeah, that's a discovery, 100%.
I'll second that.
Like, that's a whole thing. We could make an entire adventure out of that if we wanted to.
Very easy.
And Yelena jumped in.
I mean, yeah, I know exactly what Yulin is like. I can use this to end slavery everywhere. And Kor's like, yeah, but also, I don't need you to go on a fucking power trip.
Yelena's our final boss. Gotta kill her.
Shh.
Yes.
You guys aren't supposed to know that yet.
Oh no.
Alright, well, I'll bring in my backup character since it's spoiled.
I know, it's not even fun anymore. Jeez.
That's
But
just my
joking aside, any others?
Maybe I could say there could be. Well, actually, I don't know. Bonds are kind of hard. We didn't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing
Core
that
had a
was
conversation.
overly
Core
personal.
had a conversation with Arena, and I mean, we haven't done enough with that for there to really be anything other than back and forth about ideology.
Agreed.
We'd have to see them in the future, which I hope we see them in the future.
Yeah.
Did we find out anything new about Star today?
Other than the fact
We
that she has
saw
a lot
Star's
of
token.
money.
She's got a lot
Yeah,
of money, and she's
you
got some
saw her
really
token.
Yeah.
We saw her token. We found out that she's got a lot of money, and also Star is apparently got some crazy clerical abilities.
Yep, she's got some. She's got some juju. She's strong.
She does, but I think that still just ties back more into the stone than anything else.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really stand on its own yet. If you were to
Yeah,
actually talk to her about it, different.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe there is something bond-worthy from this entire experience from Core and Stitch. I learned a lot about Stitch.
Stitch is a very open individual.
Yeah, have we done anything like XP wise with Stitch? Because I feel like we've kind of over the last few sessions gotten pretty good idea, who he is, what he's about, and I did like some of the bouncing back between him and Core. It's kind of just like no nonsense, but also kind of humoring Core's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He is a character that is not tied to my backstory, but he comes from common roots, and also Core had many questions for him about the stuff he was doing pertaining to things that Core was doing and how they interact with each other.
We discovered blood magic was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a thing, and based off of the way he talked about it, usually frowned upon. Sure, I think we can roll something in there. There was some learning. There was some friending. I don't know what exactly would it be, but I think we can just say there's a point somewhere in there, and then do the 2-point conversion if everyone's happy with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In which case, you have another chore. Then you need to decide what the next level up will look like. Because ding.
Yes. Should we wait to do that, or just kind of do that over the week, just so Dara can get out of here?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll do
We can
it.
discuss that in the in-game chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a whole chat for it.
Yep.
We'll
I
post
will
it up.
roll my level then, because I want evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to?
Ooh, Nero gets a new thing at this level.
Wait, we reroll once? What was the rule again?
Yeah, actually, have I changed that rule? Yeah, so you normally reroll 1s and 2s, but I've actually adopted Don's rule a lot lately.
High average instead then?
Yeah, I think we're gonna start doing that from now on. Because no one likes a squishy hero.
Should I change the 3 and 4 that I rolled earlier in the campaign?
If you remember when they were, yeah, go for
Yeah,
it.
I track all my hit dice in case I
Yeah.
ever have to reroll them.
Yeah, for any of you that have rolled lower than that and you know what rolls they were, you're more than welcome to adjust them to the high average.
I remember specifically for like a downtime, I was like screaming at my players, from now on, you keep track of your hit dice, and if you don't keep track of your hit dice, then you can't take this downtime option. Everyone started recording their rolls.
Not bad, not bad.
Nice. Not bad. Way higher than average. Come on.
Yelena has 65 total resolve now because of bumping up some of her older hit dice.
That's actually pretty good.
And
next
my
level-
sneak attack goes up too. Wow. Okay, this is a good level.
Yeah, 7's a really good level for rogues.
Guess who has
75
4th level
each.
spells? Me and Estella.
Can't
Gold.
believe you're gonna take something worthless like Dimension Door or Death Ward or I don't know. I can't think of any other spells off the top of my head. There are only 2 4th level spells now.
I mean, basically, in my opinion, those are the only 2 4th level spells really knowing.
Banishment's there.
Oh yeah,
Banishment's
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
good.
true. Banishment's
Freedom of
Yeah.
movement also.
also pretty.
Hero just gets
Greater
a lot more
invisibility.
tanky.
Nobody takes that.
Polymorph. Well, okay, yeah, actually, that was a big oversight. That's a really.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a joke because I know there's a lot of 4th level spells that are just the black tentacles.
Yeah, I mean, just 4th level is a really strong level for magic.
Look, if we're being real, all Yelena has to do is take confusion, and she will win every combat.
Yes.
Yelena's still DC isn't that high though, because she had to focus on Dex.
Yeah, but you also have a bardic instrument, meaning that the save is made at disadvantage.
It's true, but I'm not gonna cheese it because I know that I can give disadvantage to charm effects.
All you need to do is take the bard-only spell Compulsion.
So good.
Yes. Also, Dyer, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Yes, I know. Thank
I'm
you.
not, I'm not trying to just.
Yeah,
don't
we're still streaming, by the way. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
Oh no, I
Um,
got 2 F-bombs.
Yeah. Oops. All right, you guys leveled up. Next level is 8. Decide your level ups, experience things for next week. Do your hit dice, get your features, pick your spells. Before the session. They may or may not matter next week. Who knows? The circle ball is coming up soon. Which that means stay tuned. Good things are coming up really soon. A lot of tension, a lot of bad guy stuff. Gonna be great. Otherwise, hopefully I'll actually run my Friday game this time. There's been some ups and downs with people and things happening. So hopefully we'll actually get in the game on Friday again. So tune in next time. And until then, make good choices. And be nice to people. And get vaccinated. That's what I'm going to do. All right.
Yeah.
Bye everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Be good, people.